I thought it was good. Not a beach read, but
a book you can read at the beach.
Book you can read at the beach. I would say.
So, and Emily Henry does it again. I will continue to read Emily Henry books.
I know. Like. Welcome.
Welcome to Fizz and Fiction, friends.
Glad to have you here. I'm Spencer.
And I'm Kristen.
And we're here to drink some fizz. Yep.
And talk about fiction.
Talk about fiction.
As we do.
Yep. So today we are talking about our book club book of the month.
Book of the month.
Beach read.
Beach read.
Yes. Love it. You want to give a brief overview before we get into spoiler talk?
Yeah, I actually finished this a mere hour ago. I was a little late. I was a little late trying to finish this before our podcast recording. So basically, our girl, what's her name even?
Oh, her name's January.
January. That's why I couldn't remember. It's a weird name. So our protagonist is January, and her father has recently passed away and left her a cabin in Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan.
Yeah, like a beach house on Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a bone to pick with that. It's called beach read. And I get
people up there think it's a beach.
That's my thing. They were on the beach for 30 seconds in the entire book.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is not, like, the cover is them on the beach in bathing suits.
Yeah, they go to the beach once.
They go to the beach, like, once at the very, very end. Okay, maybe, like, twice. They would go, like, one other time.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think the title is misleading.
I think that's fair.
I don't consider this, like, I don't think there's a lake house more than a beach house.
Do you think that the name was, like, just supposed to be a play on it being a beach read?
No, I think so. I think this was a marketing ploy 100%.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm going to the beach. Let me pick up this book called Beach Read. So I get it. I just don't like that fact.
You did good, but...
But anyways, January is on Lake Michigan.
Yes.
At her a house that her dad left to her when he died that she didn't know existed. It's not a spoiler if I say that, is it?
No, I don't think so.
About the lady?
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it happens pretty early, but I would just say it's someone that he left.
Okay. He got left at the beach house.
Yeah, she got left at the beach house.
Yes. And her neighbor ends up being an old college rival. Named Augustus, who is also a writer. Did I mention she was a writer? January's a writer.
January's a writer.
It's a chaotic synopsis.
It's all just, like, still swirling in your head.
It is. January's a writer of romance novels. Augustus is a writer of, like, fiction, like true fiction, usually with unhappy endings. And she sees him as her rival, and so when they run into each other as neighbors, she's a little bit, like, annoyed that he's there while she's trying to, like, deal with grief and stuff.
Yeah.
And so the premise is they challenge each other to write in the other person's style. So he has to write a romance novel and she has to write what they call, like, the great American novel.
Yep. Literary fiction.
Romance ensues.
Yep.
That is the premise. So what would you rate Beach Read?
I would rate it a...
Give me your fractions.
4.3.
Okay.
4.3.
Yeah, I think that... So I've now read almost all the Emily Henry books. And I just, like, Happy Place is just so good.
Happy Place was so good.
And
Not that this wasn't good, but, like, Happy Place was...
Well, I think that's what I'm saying. Is like, that kind of sways all my Emily Henry ratings, I think, going forward. Because you're, like,
comparing it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I really like Book Lovers by her, too. So I think I would just give it a solid 4. A solid 4. But I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
It was good. It was... I would read it again, like, as a beach read.
On the beach.
Yeah.
On Lake Michigan. Let's go to Lake Michigan.
On, like, we've been to Lake Michigan.
I know. We can go again. It's a big lake.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so if you haven't read Beach Read, leave.
Leave, please.
And come back after you have.
Yes.
Because now we're going to get into spoilers. Okay. Favorite character?
Are you going to say the boy?
I liked him. You know I am.
I know.
I liked him a lot.
I did too. Since we can talk about him when you choose him, then I'm gonna say that I did really like her friend.
Oh, Shondi, yeah.
As a side character.
Yeah, she was great. She popped in at good times.
She did. I think that they did a lot of, like, good development of her for how little she was in the book.
Yeah, I would agree. Least favorite character? I'm gonna say the dead dad.
I think I think we should start with, like, would you have forgiven him? I think we're both daddy's girls.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, this, like, really hurt me because of that, I think.
Yeah.
I could, like, see how she would have felt.
Yeah, and like, at one point towards the end when she's, like, talking about how she can still miss him and still be angry at him. Oh, I that's how I would be.
Yeah.
I would be so pissed because, okay, so we can get into it. What happens.
Yeah, like, what happens?
So, her dad dies at, like, the beginning.
Suddenly.
Yes, suddenly, has a stroke.
Yeah.
And turns out that he had a mistress.
Yes.
Like,
and, like, almost like a second life, it felt like, to her.
Yeah, and the mistress showed up at the funeral, gave her a letter and an envelope with keys to the lake house, and was like, this house, he wanted you to have this or whatever. Her mom comes out of the bathroom. Her mom sees the lady. Her mom knows who the lady is.
And she almost, like, doesn't want to deal with it, it feels like.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I think her mom has a very valid reaction. Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's her husband's funeral.
Yeah.
And she loses it. Like, January loses it.
Oh, January loses it, for
on
sure.
her mom.
Yeah.
Which is also, like, a valid reaction.
Like,
because
she's
her mom
grieving.
knew.
Yeah.
And she's grieving. So she moves to the house for the summer because she has to finish this book.
She has to clean it out, too.
She had to clean it
out.
out.
Her plan is, like, she doesn't really want this house.
She's gonna sell it.
She needs money.
Yeah, this is the house that he lit. Because it wasn't just, like, a sordid affair. Like, he had this house with this woman.
Yeah. And it's, like, old hometown, I would say.
Yeah. And it was, he was my least favorite character for sure.
I think even, like, and I know we'll get into the letters in a little bit, but I don't think the letters absolved him of anything in my eyes.
Absolutely not.
And, like,
I think it was just him clearing his conscience.
Yeah. And, like, he'd written those thinking that he would give them to her while he was still alive, to be fair.
Yeah. To where they could probably have a conversation afterwards.
And I do, the only thing I would say I agree with is that I do think that his relationship with her mom is its own separate thing.
Yeah. I think
like,
him being with her didn't mean he didn't love her mom. Like, he loved her still.
Well, that too, but I almost mean, like, I think that, like, he could still have, like, a completely separate relationship with his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that, like, that's why
They're
he was
separate.
like, my mom, like, her mom had to, like, forgive her dad already, had forgiven him, or, like, understood, like, what was happening.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I think she was taking on some of the anger that she thought her mom should have had.
Yeah.
And I don't think she needed to do that. I think that, like, she should have seen it as, like, her own interaction with her dad. But I, like, that destroyed, like, her outlook on, like, love. Oh, actually, no. I'm not picking her dad. I'm picking her freaking ex-boyfriend.
Oh, Jacques.
Jacques? Like, he was trash.
Yeah.
The second things got hard, he bounces.
Yeah, he's like, you're not who I fell in love with. I'm like, yeah, her dad just died.
Yeah, like,
Calm
that's
down.
why, like, you should definitely not get married if you've never had anything bad happen to you in your relationship.
You need to go through those trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Because that's when people's true colors comes out.
Yeah, it's fine. Of course, anyone can be happy
if nothing's happening.
It's like The Bachelor. Like, you're going on vacations with people.
Yeah, the minute you step into the real world where
things change.
Yeah, you lose a job, you lose a family member, like, stuff happens.
Yeah.
You, like, get in a car, like, bad car wreck, you get hurt, you get sick.
Even, like, people, like, get married, like, right out of college. I know it can work. Like, I'm
absolutely,
not saying that. But, like,
I feel like it can be harder.
It can be so much harder because, like, you've never been on your own together. You've never, like, been financially on your own either.
Yeah. It's just different.
It's just different.
Yeah.
So, like, I did really dislike her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. He sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. My least favorite still is the dead dad.
Yeah.
Dying
doesn't make you a hero.
It doesn't. Yeah. Like, you still suck.
Yeah.
Like, you still did these things.
Yeah.
She starts this book talking about her fatal flaw, which is, like, where prior to her dad, like, this revelation, is that she just romanticizes life, which is kind of why she was with this guy. And how she's just kind of always writing a story for herself, and she's just kind of not living in a fantasy world, but, like, almost...
He's calling her, like, a fairy princess.
Yeah, like, has, you know, maybe a warped view of what happily ever after can be.
I think it's like a defense mechanism, honestly, because her parents did go through a short separation. Their mom,
I was surprised by that.
I was too.
Because I thought at the beginning it was just all rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
And then she actually, it wasn't just like when she was, couldn't remember anything.
She's like 13 or something. 13.
Yeah. So she like saw her dad leave. And I'm like, okay, so I feel like this shouldn't be such a surprise.
But I feel like it like proved to her that their love was stronger.
To like come back.
And like her mom fought cancer and beat it twice.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that like in her mind it was that idea of like love triumphs all, like love prevails.
Yeah.
But then it didn't. And like that shattered like her worldview.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what would you say your fatal flaw would be?
So a fatal flaw is like...
It's just be anything.
Like what keeps you from... Like if you're writing a book, a fatal flaw is like what's keeping you from getting what you actually need.
Sure.
What would you say?
Oh, I'm too over-analytical in my head.
Oh.
Not necessarily like outward bound, but like inside my head. Like, wouldn't say, like, I write, like, she, like, framed it as, like, she writes stories for herself. Mm-hmm. But I'll, like, think of a situation that hasn't happened yet and, like, try to think about what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And then it won't be that situation and be like, okay, well, how did I misjudge this? Ooh, I got a foot cramp.
Oh, no.
Yeah, those are fun. But, yeah, I would say, like, in my head, I'm, like, very, I overanalyze everything.
It's so hard to be introspective with yourself. I would say... that I probably tend to, like, plan things instead of take action. Mm. Or, like, think of what, kind of like overanalyzing, but almost like shutting things down before they happen, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if I think something's going to be hard, I just, like, won't do it.
Yeah.
Or I'll, like, find an excuse by, like, doing on the, like, to-do list instead of actually doing it.
Yeah, like, oh, I didn't get to that.
I think it's, like, self-sabotage in a way.
Okay.
But...
Yeah. Being introspective today.
We are.
Taking a look.
Deep.
Taking a look inside.
I feel like Emily Henry books do that.
That's what I wanted to get. That's what I wanted to get to. Oh my gosh, Happy Place. When we do an episode about that, I had, like, a mental, I don't want to say breakdown, but, like, it hit hard. It hit home. I
wish we'd been doing the podcast when we read that book.
I was
We'll have to come back to that book.
We'll have to. Yeah. I was, like, re-examining my life after reading that book. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, where is my what is my happy place? It was just, she does. She does well at that.
Yeah, because this one I feel like the messaging is obviously, like, about, like, not... Well, I think number one, like, your parents aren't perfect kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, it's not up to you to, like, hold them to that.
Like, on a pedestal, yeah.
Yeah, but I also think that for herself, too, is, like living in the moment was a big thing in here, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. Mm-hmm. And what I thought was interesting with this book, and which is, like, part of the reason why I gave it a lower rating, and not that, and I don't want to say that it's something that was necessarily bad, but it was just different, and I guess I'm just not used to it. But... the end of this, like, the conflict in this book between them is not, like, grand. You know what I mean? Like, between her and Gus. Because it's more about their conflict with themselves.
And that is, yeah. Yes.
Because, like, okay, so they spend the summer writing as each other, and they kind of
take field trips
where he tries to get her to be, like, investigative and, like, more introspective, and she tries to teach him, like, rom-com-y stuff, which is so cute.
Yeah, it's a cute premise.
Oh, absolutely. Like, when they go
to a great movie, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could totally see this being a movie. Like, when they go to the fair.
Yeah.
And, like...
they have good banter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, like... It's not even Grumpy Sunshine, because she's not Sunshine anymore. No. I think she used to be Sunshine, then all this shit happened with her parents.
Yeah.
So it's like... Grumpy...
Grumpy.
And, like, he's divorced, and she didn't realize he was divorced.
He's separated. They're not even
they're not even divorced. Yeah, they're separated.
So that mirrors what happened to her mom, though.
Yeah. So, like, it's just, like, they could get back together, because my parents did.
Yeah.
And he's, like, says, like, at one point that he was, like, at one point he was willing.
Yeah.
To get back together with her.
Yeah.
But, like, all this happens, and then they get together, Like, they get together.
And
then they have that the book reading.
Yeah.
Where his wife still shows up. And it turns out that she wants to get back together with him. But, like, that's not even... He just kind of, like, thinks about it.
It's not a conflict.
It's really not. I mean, she thinks it is for a split second, but he comes and knocks on her door, and then they dance in the rain.
But I think that's the point. Like, this book isn't about...
Yeah.
Like, he's not, like, the antagonist.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So,
it really is, like, that grief and, like, the things she has to, like, work through.
Yeah.
But it is different.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this is a little different. Because it's, like... And they are, like, I feel like they are the main plot point, but not for the conflict.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Because also in this town is her dad's mistress.
Which we don't see too much of her, honestly.
We don't, yeah. And her dad left her this letter, and she still hadn't read the letter.
Yeah.
Through, like, the whole book.
Yeah. Because she felt like when she did, it would, like, almost be the last chance. Like, she could be hanging on to something that her dad, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
An idea of her dad.
Yeah. And so...
But in the end, honestly, I will say this, though... The cheating wasn't quite as prolific as I thought it was. Like, he didn't have a second family.
No, and they weren't even together the whole time.
No, he, like, cheated while they were separated.
Yes.
That was confirmed. And she, like, thought... And this is what mirrored her situation, because she thought that, like, they were in love and happy and great.
Yes.
And that he would stay with her. And then he went back to the wife. She had cancer.
Yes.
And then when she beat cancer a second time... He was just, like, kind of... Or, like, when she was fighting cancer a second time, he was kind of, like, stressed out.
Yeah.
And so he came back, and they ran into each other, and they started hooking up again.
Yeah. But then they ended it again.
But they ended... When she beat cancer the second time, he ended it.
Yeah. He's, like, basically, like, new lease on life kind of thing. And, yeah, I thought that... until he got to those letters... Because she ended up finding a safe that had like, all these letters from her dad. Until she started reading
Who wouldn't have tried their own birthday also?
Oh, that was so dumb.
The safe's code was her birthday, and she had tried like her parents' anniversary, which was the code to everything else.
Their anniversary and her mom's birthday, and I think his birthday. But she didn't try her birthday.
She's like, he doesn't love me.
Yeah.
Drama.
I thought I was like,
yeah.
When she was doing that scene, I was like, why is she not trying her birthday?
Yeah.
So she gets the letters, and...
You get snippets of the letters. You don't, like... It's like, he's written her a letter on her birthday for 29 years.
I was almost worried that she was gonna, like, go really in-depth in all the letters.
I know.
I'm like, I don't want to read all this. I'm sorry. But yeah, so they haven't been together this whole time. And I thought it was gonna be way more... We've been together for 20 years as well.
He almost comes out like he's supposed to look better.
Yeah, I mean, it still doesn't look great.
I think he's meant to look like, I was only doing this because I was hurting.
Yeah, like he was struggling.
And again, like, you're human, whatever, but like, and it doesn't vindicate you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cowardly, too, to me that he was doing it through letters.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not my favorite.
No.
And she's annoyed with him as well because it's like they can't fight it out.
Yeah. And like again, he wasn't preparing to die.
Yeah, because he's passed. Yeah, and I felt bad for her mom. But then I liked at the end where she like texted her mom and was like whatever she said and like I'm here to talk about it when you're ready.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
It was.
I do love the side story of her friend with the haunted hat.
Oh my god.
And then they aren't even, in the flash forward, they aren't even together.
Well, she was like, because there was that one clip where she was like, you do this every time, but like, it's like what makes her happy or something.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
like falling.
Falling in love, yeah.
It's just so funny.
It was.
Because she was just, I love that in the flash forward, she wasn't even with that guy.
No.
I'm like, I thought you loved the haunted hat. It was funny. I did love I like their dynamic a lot.
I love the Taylor Swift window writing.
Yeah, that was cute.
So cute.
It was really cute. I like that a lot. I just liked them. I liked that it was, like, had some heavy stuff in it, too.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, like, cults, like, graveyard thing.
Oh, that was fast. I think cults are fascinating in general, honestly.
Yeah. They're something.
They're fascinating. So it was fun. Not fun, but it was interesting.
Interesting to
read through.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure, like this could easily, I'm sure it's, like, based on something. Like, it could easily happen.
Yeah, it was also interesting because I thought about it when I was reading, when he was talking about how long he'd been working on that book. Mm-hmm.
Like 5 years. Like,
yeah, and then,
since he moved there, I think.
And then I remembered from when I was watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, it's not in the book I don't think, but it's in the show,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like there's other author in town.
Yeah.
And he's, like, trying to learn how to sail because he's like, I like to immerse myself in, like, the things that my books are centered around.
Yeah.
I'm like, these people who write these books, the time and the dedication and the effort, I'm just like, kudos.
Yeah, to make it realistic or whatever.
Yeah, because he's like, I gotta know. It's like the simplest saying where he's like, I gotta know what a knot is.
Yeah.
I gotta know what kind of knot. Because if somebody's reading this who knows what that knot is, and they're like,
I'll take them out of it.
Yeah.
And, like, honestly, like, nowadays you can do a lot of research on it online, but can you imagine writing books back before the internet?
Oh my gosh. It would take even longer.
I know. Wild.
But yeah, I did like them. And yeah, it was funny that they never went to the beach.
I'm telling you, it was the one thing that pissed me off.
Well, he was like, I don't like the beach except for in the winter.
Yeah.
And she was like, in the winter, I just want to be dead. I was like, I can relate.
She's so real to that.
Any girl can relate.
But we were talking about them being writers. So what genre would you like to write?
Oh, I mean, I would write romance.
When she was talking about herself and like the book she was writing, I actually thought of you. Mm-hmm. I think this would be Spencer's kind of writing.
Oh, absolutely. I could
this
just
would be her.
Not that I think it would be easy at all, but I would like that would be what I would try to crank out.
Yes,
absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah. What about you?
Definitely fantasy.
Oh, yes. See, I don't think I could like build that kind of world.
I love the world building.
I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like just I gotta do. Give me some sports romance. I'll crank those out.
Well, we're gonna write Hallmark movies one day already. So.
Oh, that's given.
A given. Coming to you soon.
Given. Or should they be Hallmark or should they be something else so we can give them spicier? Because you can't get spicy on Hallmark.
What if we invent like an HBO Hallmark like line of movies?
Hey, I'm here for it.
We'll order.
There's a market for that. 100%.
Anyone on BookTok. Anyone. Anyone
who's watching Hallmark but just watching it in their house because it's like family friendly.
Like they love the love part of it.
But then they're like, it's late at night, all the family's to bed. Mm-hmm. Now I want to crank it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm here for it.
Okay.
Oh man.
We'll work on that for you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Were you expecting them to? Were you expecting them to like be married by the end of it? I wasn't expecting them to get engaged by the end of it, like in the epilogue.
As long as it's not a pregnancy, I'm happy.
It's true.
Because
I thought she was gonna be like, it was like only a year, and I was like, she seems like she might be a little skittish.
Yes, I think that had they not known each other in college,
that's fair.
It might be different. Like I do think that. I also think there's something to be said about the fact that she dated that guy for 6 years and it never materialized into engagement.
Yeah.
And it's like that idea of like when you know, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like you see all those people out there that are in like these long-term relationships and then like they break up and then literally in a year they're married.
Yeah, that's true.
Or engaged. Yeah,
that's true.
But I did think it was a cute, because it was like their 1 year like meeting.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. And like cute. He had a little sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was here for that.
They were cute. I like them all. And his like aunt was like.
Oh, I like Pete.
Yeah.
Pete and Maggie.
Yeah, they were cute. Don't talk about rocks around her.
And like their book club of like White Russians.
Oh
yeah. White and blue. Like
yeah,
that was a hoot.
Yeah.
I did love that whole that was a great like introduction to like their dynamic. I feel like was the book club.
Oh,
and then both coming thinking they were gonna be talking about their own books.
That was funny.
It was good.
Yeah. And I loved how at the end when they were talking about the books that they wrote, because she won the bet.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You didn't write a romantic comedy." She was like, "You didn't even write a rom-com." And he, like whatever, I can't even remember what the story he wrote was like.
It was. I mean, I know. Okay, so she would have hated this because she hates these kind of books.
I can't even remember.
But the couple escapes the cult and they like don't believe it, and they're driving away and the meteor comes down.
Oh yes.
That the cult has been predicting, and so they were right, and it smashes to Earth. Doesn't kill anyone technically, but because they were looking at it while they were driving, they like smash into a tree or something, and they both die instantly. And he's like,
I read that, and I was like, if I had read that book, I would have been so mad.
I loved it, because I love those kind of endings.
I would have thrown it out.
Because I'm right with him. He was like, they died happy. They were together. They were free. But she would have hated it.
I would have thrown
so
that.
much.
I would have thrown that. You know that clip of Bradley Cooper throwing the book out of the window?
Yes.
I would have done that with this book.
Oh my god.
With that book if I had read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just thought it was funny. She was like, that it wasn't even a rom-com, and then he's like, talking about how it was.
This is why it was a happy ending for them.
And how she sees she sees the world differently, and how he likes that.
But he was like, and if that had been us, I would have.
He was so sweet the whole time. Like, he had baggage for sure.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
I think that they worked through it well.
They did. They communicated well.
And I think that if she hadn't been writing that book, the one that was like literary fiction, I don't think she would have like
processed.
Yeah, because it helped her just like process everything. Yeah. That book sounded interesting. What she wrote.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
The circus one. I'm like, that sounds like something I would.
Yeah. I also want to say that I know that like we talk about, and like Emily Henry does a lot of like second chance romances, and I don't usually like them.
Would we call this a second chance romance?
So I think.
Because it's like, it was kind of on Here's part, where he was like, I liked you then.
Oh, that's...
And she was like, what?
So, like, I would consider people being on vacation second chance romance, too. It's the same vein. It's like, they knew each other, and they came... All of her books are like that. Like, we've met, we've come back together.
That's true.
They didn't necessarily, like, date, so maybe it's not, like, a true second chance romance.
Yeah.
But what I want to get at is that I don't generally like second chance romance. But what I do love, a trope that I do love in TVs and books... is when he knew he loved her.
Yeah.
From like a while ago.
She didn't
realize it. And like even the fact that like when they were like hooking up right at the beginning, like when they were about to hook up, and he was like, I like knew since before then, and she was like, I love
their flashback to the party. I'm like, he was like, I broke up with my girlfriend.
Yes.
She said, why would you do that at a party? He said, why do you think? I'm like, how do you not see this?
How do you not see it?
How do you not see this?
Oh.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot.
I do too. Yeah, it's a good, like, he knew but she didn't know. But she ended up having a crush on him anyway, so it's kind of like they both...
She did have a crush on him, yeah.
Yeah.
But he, like, didn't know how to share his feelings.
Yeah, like, they both had a crush on each other in college, but
they're just stubborn. And they both... And, like, it's like that, I think it's also this, too. It's like that invisible string kind of theory.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like they both like went off, like her with her golden boy, he kept calling him.
Yeah, and Naomi.
And then Naomi, screw her.
Yeah.
She ended up sleeping with his best man, which was his roommate.
Yeah.
That's why they broke up.
Yeah.
And he found out on his birthday. Shitty.
Yeah.
But like, it's like this invisible string that like brought them back together.
I know. I like it.
That.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I'm rooting for them.
I am too. I believe in them.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Not a beach read, but...
A book you can read at the beach.
At the beach. I would say.
So. And Emily Henry does it again. I will continue to read Emily Henry books.
I know. Like, I'm curious. I'm sure she's got one coming out this summer.
She does. There's it's like a purple cover, I think. I don't know the premise of it. I've just seen like a picture of it.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it. I need to...
We should do like a Emily Henry wrap-up one day.
Ooh, yeah. Like, rank couples, rank like storylines and stuff.
Yeah.
I do that.
Coming soon to a podcast near you, probably.
I like it.
But yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to beach read, and cheers to... I don't know.
Cheers for using books to work through your trauma.
Yeah, that's a good one. And cheers to the Lake Michigan in January.
Yes.
Yeah. Until next time.